Hey, what is up guys, Marty here, back to do another video, and today I've got an amazing game again. I keep saying this, but it just feels like it. I've been playing pretty good since finishing R21. I have not been preoccupied with the mod, with the patch. I don't see flaws anymore in the game, which is important, so I'm able to remain more focused when playing, and that is good for you guys to watch. I believe the games are better quality now, and I want to play in more events and tournaments. There's going to be a big one next year in February. It could be $1,000 US. Would be nice to play in that. Bike Rush will be involved as well. Phoenix, I hope to get to return. It would be a letdown if we don't get some returning pros playing that. So this game, yeah, you haven't seen anything like this. This is going to be a game. We'll be Blackhand, and Cyberstorm will be once again my opponent. Good faction to be for anti-scouting. Blackhand do get those Confessor Cabals, which are the single best unit you can get from selling a Shredder turret. It's only 4 out of 6 members for the Shredder turret draft, but it still makes it the best squad in the game. Amok Awakened drafts are not as dreadful as they once were, because you can repair the Enlightened and Awakened and the War Factory, albeit at a slow-ish rate, but still, it's a thing. It's enough to turn the tide of a battle against a rifleman. If a rifleman chooses to pursue your Awakened into your base and it goes into the War Factory, then yeah, the rifleman will have to disengage, because it won't be able to take on that unit, much as it can't take on a buzzer when it is near a War Factory. Now, it's not enough repair rate to out-repair anything substantial like an APC or anything with AP ammo, to be exact, but it's still a nice feature to have when you have promoted units and you want to keep them alive and you have no means of repairing them, because it's a sad moment when you have that 3-member Enlightened squad with like 5% health on the health bar. It just feels bad, man, because you know all 3 are not going to make it, and it's no longer going to be that way, which is good. We're going to see Enlightened live to see another day, as they should. Now, I know that Nod infantry are more disposable, but it makes sense, and this was originally Drive's idea. I had trouble implementing that, but what I did essentially was increase the health by 400%, and adjusted the armor. I think I mentioned this before, but I still like to mention it because it's a feature that I haven't seen many people use yet. But yeah, so now that the early game's over, which we all know nothing much happens, well, we did in some of my previous games, but this game has been pretty quiet so far. I've got some bikes here just to scout my opponent, a little bit of mind games here and there. Made a singular bike earlier on just to make my opponent overspend. That's mostly the goal of this, is to make my opponent make 10 Seekers to kill 3 bikes while I go for harvesters. I've got like 10 harvesters now and 4 refineries, and seeing all these Seekers, I'm going to be able to build these War Factories now and build my army with this eco advantage that I have. But yeah, whilst I am going for macro, Cyberstorm will be able to recover his eco, so all things considered, it's going to be pretty equal. I'm going for Bike Buggy, which is a good strategy to use against Trial 59, because they have mind controlling units. If you invest into Flame Tanks and Scorpion Tanks, that just makes them a prime target for Cultist spam. I don't want them to get nabbed by Cultists. Even the Dozer Blade Scorpion Tanks will get killed and captured. Scorpion Tanks, they have a interesting state at this present time. 25% extra armor with Dozer Blades, except versus rocket damage, where once the Dozer Blade upgrade is researched, it's 20% additional armor against rocket damage. For a multitude of different reasons, but yeah, it will help the Seeker a lot because they were slightly overperforming, and they were slightly underperforming at 15%. So it's a good balance to strike, and it alleviates a lot of the balance issues that we had with it, whilst retaining that resilience to gun damage and cannon damage. Seeker's getting taken, and there's just too much bike bucky there for him to handle. But the cultists are moving in, and I just don't have enough raider bikers to deal with these, and the cultists will be pulled back there. The lightning spike goes down. I'm going to be forced to go back to my base. Units getting mind controlled. I've got the flame tank. I'm praying that this flame tank gets in, but it's unlikely to get into the base. I'm researching at this present time. I believe the quad turret upgrade. I think Dozer Blaze is a waste of time. If I'm researching Dozer Blaze, that's a big mistake. It's $2,000. I was checking patch 1.0 the other day, and I saw it was 1,000 there. How crazy would that be? $1,000 Dozer Blades, and they were even better than what you see here. Yeah, it's Dozer Blade. So that was, I think my original plan was to go Scorpion tanks, and I at some point decided to not do that. So I essentially researched Dozer Blades for 5 Scorpion tanks, which is not worth it at all. Granted, Reckoners do benefit from that upgrade too, and in this patch, Reckoners get a sizable armor upgrade with Dozer Blaze. It's actually plus 30% armor for the Reckoner. That was to offset the speed nerf that Reckoners received, like at this point 7 years ago. They got speed nerfed and nothing to make up for it. Usually when you nerf something, you should buff it somewhere else, just so it's not gone from useful to useless. Now the Reckoner is more suited towards defense, but it's still good for harassment, as it always has been. You can go flame rushes, which are really effective with that, but it's not like in the olden days where you could just build 4 Cabal squads, anti-scout your opponent, and rush a Reckoner to the base and win the game in like 2 minutes. No, that's not. It's not as oppressive as that, and trust me, that was not a good state of affairs. That's what led a lot of people to quit the game, due to the balance flaws with 1.02. R21 and not just R21, but the history of this particular patch has addressed almost all of the issues with the game, while maintaining the vanilla feel. It's just a more bug-free version. No desyncs, no crashes, and the balance is better. It's still fun to play, at least for me. Yes, I do have a biased take on this, but it's just what it says on the tin. It's 1.02 plus. It's like 1.02, but enhanced. And there's a few specific features that I've added over time to this as well. Too many to list here, but I am proud that they are in this, and I think it separates this from other mods. Going for beam cannons now, and 2 MCVs. Now, Trial 59, they can capture purifiers, so I can't do the traditional strategy against Scrin, which is to build purifiers and just aggressive stance them in my opponent's base. No, that doesn't work. So instead, I'm building beam cannons to assist in a base push. I'm moving an MCV to my opponent so I can base push with beam cannons. And we're going to see how that goes. Unfortunately, though, for me, these beam cannons are getting caught out in the open. MCV there as well, in peril, especially if a Prodigy comes in. Speaking of Prodigy, Cyberstorm will want to teleport that quickly, or else it's going to be doomed. You can't max lane melees effectively in R21 because I did fix an exploit where, well, it's not really an exploit, but the bug where the phase field would never count down whilst EMP'd has been fixed. So if a hexbot is phased and EMP'd, it's still gonna be killable in that EMP'd state after the phase wears off. You're not gonna have to wait until the phase wears off before it's targetable, and that's one of the biggest components of the hex lane strategy, is the ability to get that out of EMP and then teleport it back with the exploit. Anyway, I'm using these beam cannons now to charge up this base defense. It stacks up to 4 beam cannons, and it's plus 10% range for every beam cannon equipped, and plus 10% rate of fire. I'm going to place this shredder turret near to this obelisk of light as well, just so it has some defense against Prodigy, which is sneaking up from behind. I've got another one of these turrets queued, just anticipating it would come this way. It's not going to be able to capture this Conyard, I'll tell you that right now. It's not going to happen. Placing power plants in front of these obelisks so I can building block them. That's mostly what this is all about. And look at the range of these obelisks. But it's not doing a whole lot so far because this Hexbot is receiving repairs. I'm EMPing it, but nothing much else is happening. He's healing up the damage I'm inflicting. The first of many Devastators will be coming out now. I'm going to take this out, and yeah, the Storm Column really is what I should be focusing on at this point. So at this point, it's my micro that is could be better. I could enhance this push with micro decisions. But I did target the tripod there, nailed it quickly, and look at the range on this Obelisk of Light. One of them, though, will be targeted down. Redeemer comes out. I was thinking maybe I should put rockets in this Redeemer, but for maximum survivability, the Redeemer is best with 2 engineers. Like the Hexbot, the Redeemer has many different configurations, and it depends on you as a player what you want to put in it, and depending on the situation. I've had many a time where putting 2 rockets is the ideal thing, especially for blackhand because you don't have aircraft, and anti-air is limited to typical bike buggy and the Mantis. The Mantis is good, but on some maps it's restrictive due to the terrain, like on Tournament Decision the Mantis doesn't have the ability to traverse from one side of the map to the other. The Obelisk though, look at it taking pot shots from across the screen. It's almost a full screen width of range. Redeemer getting targeted down, but so are these tripods. Redeemer trying to escape. It's now in that temporal. And this Obelisk of Light should be really focusing on the tripod. I retarget the tripod there. And that rate of fire just so insane. Taking out that tripod. Redeemer goes down, and now I've got 2 Obelisks of Light charged up by the beam cannons. Pew, pew, pew. That is so many lasers going off. In fact, this is probably the most amount of Obelisk shot lasers that have been in a singular match of Kane's Wrath. I don't think, outside of like the really crazy PvE versus AI, that this is a thing. But this is a new strategy that I'm attempting here versus Traffic. I'm trying to stay outside the range of those mind controlling units. I'm trying to prevent it from harvesting this field. What I can do here is use the Catalyst Missile. I'm queuing another Obelisk, anticipating I'll lose this. I've also got the Ichor Seed recharged. I've been taking Blue Tiberium behind this as well. So economically, I've been doing much better off. But obviously I have inferior options to the Traveler player at this stage of the game because I don't have aircraft. I really need Venoms. Beam Venom is one of your best counters to the Devastators and stealth tanks as well. So I had the 4 beam cannons up in the north. I thought I would get attacked by a Prodigy there, so the beam cannons would have sniped it in the north, but it was not needed ultimately. And now these obelisks are just going to start laying down some hurt on this army, some buggies moving in, just getting suicided. Now this is probably funding Cyberstorm. He's getting kills for all these units of mine. So whilst he's not harvesting a whole lot in his field, I'm practically giving him the resources by letting my units die. But I need the buggies in and the bikes just to kill those Devastators. But nevertheless, it is hard here, and the Hexpod gets teleported back. So yeah, this is quite unfortunate for me. And even that tripod's not safe from that obelisk all the way over there. He probably can't even see that obelisk. It's probably in the fog of war for him. Harvester gets destroyed from that refinery. I can drop another obelisk, but it's going to get destroyed. There's 2 Devastator warships on this map. These beam cannons now are probably best suited for attacking the Storm Column and Hexpod with their main attack, combining their beams to form a better attack. Because yeah, this strategy is just falling apart. Redeemer though is out for me, and Engineer gets sniped before going in the Redeemer, unfortunately for me. I'm amassing another army of bike buggies so I can kill the Devastators. Hexpod getting some heals up, and I'm going to get a god tier 1 click on this force. Not only do I nail the extractor, but like 5 corruptors as well. Chain reaction also inflicts some damage to the hex pod. And now these beam cannons are moving forward. I'm going to start targeting down these forces here. And now's the time for me to build more obelisks and use the beam cannons to charge them up. Because once I can deal with these tripods, I'm going to be good to go. So I'm going to just charge this one up here. And if the tripods to choose this chase, which they might, I'll be able to kill them with the obelisk of light there. Devastator warship though still posing a big problem. There's a lot of tripods back there as well as an eradicator hexpod. And I simply can't get into range, but I can flank it with the bike buggy. So I'm going to go around here, snipe a devastator. That was a reasonable trade there. 1 dev ship for like half a dozen bike buggy. Bikes and buggies are expendable. Devastators are much more expensive. And his Eradicator has tanked so many obelisk shots, but it's thanks to those corruptors that he has kept it alive. It's promoted to that Vet 1 rank. And I'm going to see if I can execute this properly. So I want to raise the tripods so the bikes can go in freely and kill the Devastator, because once the tripods are raised, they'll target their own units instead of my bike buggy. So it's sort of like a distraction. So I'm going to see if I can time this right. So I'm going to use the rage here. The tripods start firing at themselves, and now these bike buggies are free to attack that dev ship and take it out. I lose practically nothing there. And now these tripods are getting shot up by these obelisks. 2 obelisks there. Look at the damage. May even get killed, but not before he teleports it back. But I'm going to kill some tripods. Look at that. So satisfying to see the obelisk doing that attack there. So yeah, that time the obelisk strategy worked. I've essentially prevented him from harvesting on this field. So in that sense, it was a success, but I have not dealt the killer blow just yet. That was good what I did there. I killed 2 or 3 tripods and a few devastators, but I need more than that. And he can't push out here. So I'm keeping him back there. This Redeemer is going to get some repairs near that war factory, or I could just put an engineer in there for now. Redeemers heal pretty fast with their Saboteur garrison. Even though they only get 2 engineer slots, it's very fast repair. 1 more Devastator comes out. Hexapod there, just chilling. I've got 17 bikes and 6 buggies. I could just send them around the back actually at this point, because he doesn't have any defense over there, but there's probably a Prodigy on this map still, and I need to keep my foothold on this location and take out these Devastators. That's what the bike buggy is there to do. And the Corruptors also need to be disposed of, because yeah, they have been mostly the problem for me this entire time. I imagine if I had a better way of dealing with Corruptors, this would not be an issue. Maybe a few Spectres as well, just to force my opponent's Corruptors to not heal the Hexapod, because then I can get some damage dealt in the back with those Corruptors, with those Spectres, and that's going to be GG. And I thought that was a pretty epic showcase of the Obelisk of Light special ability when charging it up with beam cannons. It stacks up to 4, remember, so attempting to charge it with more than 4 won't actually do a whole lot for you. Anyways guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate you all tuning in and sticking around this long to watch this. And if you enjoyed it, then don't forget to hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. Anyways guys, thank you very much again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. This is Master Leave. Peace out.